I'm what? I just read in the chat that I'm 200 people away from the 20,000 subscriber milestone. Are we for reals? Listen, y'all, I've been gone for almost 2 weeks. I haven't looked at YouTube. I did do a live stream from retreat, but I just opened up YouTube, did a live stream, and then put my phone down, and I forced myself to take time away from YouTube. No recording videos, no editing videos, no looking at metrics, no replying to comments, none of that stuff, because this was my personal vacation from my 9 to 5 job and YouTube. So wow, what an amazing surprise to come back to. I literally haven't even jumped back into anything other than getting everything set up for tonight's live stream. So that's a little impressive. Cool. So here's what we're going to do. If we hit 20,000 subscribers on tonight's live stream, which I don't know that we will, I don't grow that many subscribers in a day, but if we hit that milestone tonight, we will do a giveaway, but it has to happen before 10 p.m. Eastern time. And if we don't hit it tonight, we'll do something else some other time. But if we hit it while we're live, we're going to do the giveaway live. So awesome. Okay, so what do we got tonight? Well, first I have my phone and I want to give, I turned my flashlight on. I want to give you my undivided attention. So I'm going to set that aside. I have got my cup of water. I've got a little cup with some pepitas, which are just shelled pumpkin seeds. They're delicious. Sliced almonds and craisins in here as a little snack, just to have while we're chatting tonight. And I got a cart full of stuff I want to show you. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about or where I'm even going with any of this, let me give you my introduction first. My name is Becca. This is my sewing room. And every Friday night we do a live stream at 8 o'clock right here. And normally I chat with you and keep up with the chat while I'm working on a project. Sometimes I might be teaching you how to do something. Sometimes I'm just sewing and hoping that you're sewing with me. But tonight it's going to be a little different. I'm just going to have the chat open. In fact, I can see it now. I can see the stuff actually scrolling past. So I'm resizing my window so that I can keep a better eye on the chat tonight. So I've got the chat going. We're going to be talking about all things retreat because it was amazing. I will let you know I'm still a little tired. I'm recharged, but I did a lot of driving today, so I'm just a little bit tired. So I don't know that I'm going to be talking fast and loud and high energy tonight, but that's okay. It's just going to be like a relaxing chat. with all of my quilty friends. So grab a project, grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a cup of water, whatever your beverage of choice is, and let's settle in for a couple hours while we enjoy whatever creative joys bring, whatever creative passions bring us joy tonight to kick off the weekend. Gosh, I can't talk today. So this past couple of weeks, where have I been? I have been in Northeast Alabama in a little town called Scottsboro, which is about an hour outside of Huntsville. Every year, I go to a retreat with about 15 other quilters in Northeast Alabama, and it's typically in July, and it's always the same ladies. This is a private retreat, meaning my friends coordinate this, and we all chip in to reserve a retreat center for our group only. This is not a public retreat that is open to the group. You can't buy tickets to it anywhere. This is just something that my friends and I do once a year. My mom and I go on this retreat every year, and we love this time away together. And today I want to tell you, Karen says, a long time no see. She's actually the lady that one of the ladies that coordinates the retreat. Um, Mom goes to these with me, and every year that we have gone, she really hasn't needed a lot of space. Now, don't get me wrong. When mom shows up somewhere, she will take up whatever space you give her. If you give her a 20-foot table, she will find a way to use every single inch of that 20-foot table. So we always give her a 5-foot table, just like we give to all the other crafters, quilters that are there. But mom in the past has brought snacks, an iPad, and lots of yarn with crochet hooks, and she works on crocheting something, and that's really kind of it. Occasionally she'll pick up a new craft that she'll want to dabble in, and the ladies there are so encouraging and helpful that they will try to teach her that new craft. One year they actually tried to teach her, just turn that on silent mode. One year they actually tried to teach her cross stitch, for an example. This year, though, was different. She decided that she wanted to continue sewing, and I'm so glad that she did. And I am so glad that she did that at retreat, where she was able to benefit from a few others helping to teach her things alongside of me. Yeah. And I gotta tell you, she finished, I'm trying to count in my head, she finished 2 quilts that she started and finished on that trip. I do have one of them here tonight that I'll be able to show you, but the other one I can't show you because it's already been sent off to the long armor. She has a 3rd quilt that she has picked out fabric and a pattern for and has starched the fabric. It's a 3-yard quilt that she plans to do in August when she and my stepdad come up to visit. I gotta tell you guys, she is knocking it out of the park. She has got her 1/4-inch seam allowance down. She is able to get a consistent and steady 1/4-inch seam allowance without drawing on her fabric anymore. And she's doing that by using that 1/4-inch foot with the little guide on it. A week's worth of practice has done this woman a ton of good. So, um, mom's in the chat. You guys, Nancy Sexton, that's my mom. Make sure to send her some hearts, give her some love, tell her how proud you are of her for coming over to the dark side. I'm really excited for her. Jason is out walking the dogs tonight, or like right now at this moment, but he does plan to be in the studio with me tonight, and I don't know whether or not my second microphone will be charged up enough to get him on mic. We're going to try our best, but he will be in the studio. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when he comes back in, we'll hold up the quilt that's in this room so that you can see what she did. And spoiler alert, don't tell mom, even though she's in the chat, I plan to quilt that for her before she comes up in August. Quilt it, bind it, and have it ready to go so that when she hits my front door, she has a fully completed quilt that she pieced herself. How amazing would that be? All right. What else do we have? The retreat. Let's talk about what the retreat looked like. So I took a lot of time off work because I had a lot of vacation days banked, and I was able to do that. So it enabled me to not look at my phone, not look at my email, not look at anything else, truly have a full retreat away from everything. We left after all of my work and stuff was done on Tuesday and got into Kingsport, Tennessee. Wednesday morning, we woke up, had some breakfast at the hotel, and then continued our journey from Kingsport, Tennessee, onward to Scottsboro. And Wednesday night, our retreat hadn't started, but it is a tradition that a couple of us stay at a hotel in downtown Scottsboro the night before retreat actually kicks off. And so that's what we actually did. We checked into the hotel, we had some dinner together. It was great. And then the next day we woke up and slowly made our way over to the retreat center. But the only problem was I have been looking forward to this retreat for a year, like literally a year. You see, this retreat has been one that is about a 12-hour drive for me. It is a long drive, but I really love the time that I spend with my friends there. I really like the ability to disconnect, and I love the Grand Oak Retreat Center, which is where this retreat is at. But it's been a Monday through Thursday scenario. We check in at noon on Monday. We have all day Tuesday to sew. And then by Wednesday evening, we need to start packing up because we have to be out the door at 9 a.m. on Thursday. So really, that gives us one full day and 2 half days of sewing. And that's not a lot of time for a 10 to 12-hour drive. I have been dying to see this retreat turn into a full week. And this year was that chance. We checked in on Thursday later in the afternoon, and then we checked out yesterday at 9 a.m. So we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 full days of sewing, plus the half day on Thursday when we checked in, and the half day on Wednesday as we were packing up and getting ready to leave. Yeah, that's great. I remember when we got into town and we all decided we were going to have lunch at this Mexican restaurant in Scottsboro before we went over to the retreat center. And as we're sitting around the table, everybody's looking at me and I'm just like this. Like no expression. Not over the top, just like literally blank, right? Hey babe. I'm literally just blank and not really showing any emotion because I was trying to contain all of the emotion on the inside. I was so excited to go. When we got there, I unloaded the car, got mom set up, got me set up. They had some boys that were able to help us unload, and we got everything unpacked, brought in, and we just set up for the week, and that's where everything began. Hey, I know you just sat down, but I have a favor to ask of you. Mom made a quilt while Jason just walked into the room for everybody that is curious what's happening. And I also have a seed that just went down the wrong pipe. I have a pumpkin seed. So mom at retreat, I was just telling them, finished 2 quilts. She started and finished 2 of them. One of them we gave to a lady that goes to this retreat who has a long arming business. We gave that quilt to her to long arm. The other one made it in my bag to come back, and I've got to quilt it, and I want to show them what that quilt looks like. It's hanging up on the long arm. Would you help me hold it up? I did say please. Okay, so she did a jelly roll race with a jelly roll that Karen gave her. And this is what that jelly roll looks like. This is what the jelly roll race looks like. We'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see the fabric a little more. When she started this, she had to draw her 1/4 inch on the back side of all of these strips of fabric because she still hadn't gotten down how to hold the fabric up to the 1/4 inch measurement, like how to sew straight without watching a marking. But I was telling everybody in the chat, can you just drape this back over the long arm, please? Thank you. I was telling everybody in the chat that by the end of the retreat, she got that 1/4 inch seam down, and she has a smack on 1/4 inch seam allowance, guys. So, Mom, you asked me, did I see your jelly roll race? Yes. Yes, I did. It's right there. Okay. While we were in town on our way in, we actually stopped. I forgot one more thing. On our way into town, we actually stopped at a shop called Heavenly Stitches because I needed some low volume fabrics. I haven't released the unboxing video yet. It still has to be edited, but I have recorded it. I got sorry, a little out of breath. I got an unboxing. I got a subscription box called The Common Thread, I think. I think that's it. One of my lovely subscribers paid for this box to come to my home. And this is now the second month that I've got it. And by the way, don't worry, I did call the shop. I did confirm that it's really intended for me. I know there's been some question about whether or not I should have kept the box. I've been getting this box. It's addressed to me. It's addressed to my mailing address. And I called the shop and it is supposed to be for me. But in this box last month, we got a pattern for an Edita Sitar quilt pattern that featured these blocks. And we got a mixture of some blue and red fabrics, and we had to bring our own low volume to make these flags and our background fabric, of course, to put a quilt together. Karen really wanted to do a Quilt of Valor this year in honor of our friend Terry, who passed away this past year. She used to be a part of our retreat every year. Sadly, she wasn't there this year because she has passed away. And so what we did is took that pattern and took those fabrics from that subscription box, and I brought in some low volumes that I found at Heavenly Stitches in Kingsport, Tennessee, and each one of us made a flag. My plan is over the next couple of weeks, I'll be squaring these up because I just told people to leave the jagged edges. I would clean them up. I'm going to clean these all up and put them into some sort of setting and get the quilt quilted. Either I'll do it here or I'll send it off to a long armor to quilt just so I can have it done. This quilt will be donated to a Quilt of Valor program in Terry's name with a label affixed to the back that tells her whole story. So that's one of the first stops that we made on retreat. We stopped at Heavenly Stitches in Kingsport, Tennessee to pick up that low volume fabric specifically for this project that we all did at retreat. Hey, 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 Tiff. Hello, Sean and Teresa. By the way, guys, I just want to let you know that the folks that are in the chat that have a blue name with a little wrench next to them, that's my moderators, and most of them have channels of their own, and they would love it if you check out their content. And if you like what you see, give them a subscribe. Okay, so I feel like I'm looking at Jason. I feel like I don't know how to do this anymore.
You'll get back into it. Drive on, soldier.
What is the theme song from Supernatural? Carry on my wayward son. Yeah. I love that show. All right. So I want to show you guys about some of the things that I did get. So while we were at retreat, we did a lot of stuff. I will tell you, I did not walk away with a ton of quilts finished, but I didn't go with the intention of having lots of quilts finished. I just wanted to make progress on some of the quilts that I had. I did finish my layer cake pop quilt that I've been working on over the past few weeks. And I had intended for Mom to finish hers, but guess who left her quilt behind? It's not here. It wasn't packed away, so we didn't take it. We didn't take it with us. So Auntie L says, that story gave me goosebumps, Becca. Well, I'm glad. I am so glad that this was a touching story. This was not my idea. It was Karen's idea, but that's what we're going to do with this. So I'll show you guys the quilt when it's fully finished, and I'll share that story with you again in a future video. But that's one of the things that we did. While we were at retreat, we had lots of time. So we decided we were going to go to a quilt shop in, was it in Scottsboro? No. Let me back up a minute. On our way into town, we stop at a quilt shop that is literally right on the border of Georgia and Tennessee, and it's called Lana's Quilts and More. And all of these quilt shops that I stopped at, by the way, I will put their information in the description box down below after the live stream ends. So if you want to come back and get that information, you can. I'll also put it in a blog post on my website so you can get all this information. Most of these shops do have online web presence, but they also are really cute little stores to stop in and just do a little bit of shopping. Lana's Quilts is a really cool little store. So I wish I had some footage to share with you. I didn't because I focused on being in the moment and not recording footage. But it is essentially a 3-bedroom ranch-style house with an attached garage that has been fully taken over by fabric. Like literally, you open the front door, which should traditionally open into a front room area with a kitchen and a dining room, all kind of open concept. And instead, you're met by just fabric. The kitchen is the cash register area. The dining room is the boutique room with a massive dining room table to do all of your cutting on. And every single nook and cranny of this structure, including the garage and all of the closets, have been taken over by fabric and long arm machines, and it's just amazing. Lana is obviously the owner. She's there every year when we stop in, and this is kind of a tradition that we stop there on our way home. After retreat is over, we usually stop at Lana's as we're kind of making our way back home. But this year I stopped on the way in and on the way home. And what we did on the way in was get a couple of things that we knew we needed for retreat. We're going to be there for a week, so why not grab a couple of things? During that trip, Mom grabbed a couple of panels and 2 different grunge colors that she really liked. And she used that to make a quilt that I can't show you right now. I don't even have a picture of it right now. But that quilt has been sent off to a long armor. On the way back, though, I stopped at Lana's and did a little shopping for myself. And that's what I'm going to show you now is the fabric. Oh, hey, guess what? My little switcher thing wants to not work right now. We're going to reboot it. And 3. There we go. We'll put it on here. Hello, while I fix this. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, so we'll get this out of the way. The first thing that I got was this. There we go. Turn it around this way. This is a mini charm of the new Strawberry Lemonade fabric by Sherry and Chelsea. This line has not come out yet, but it's coming out soon, and I could not resist it. Sherry and Chelsea are literally some of my favorite fabric designers. This is so stinking yummy, but I can't show you what all of the fabric looks like in this because that's 2.5-inch pieces of fabric. So I picked this up. It's the only one they had in the store. I'm guessing Moda sent it to them as a sample, and they decided to sell it, and I decided to buy it. I also realized I'm running a little low on jelly rolls, and I love my batiks. I saw this batik jelly roll when I stopped into Lana's the first time on the way down. This is, I think, yep, it's called Hummingbird Lane. I think it looks familiar because I think I may have had this one before. And now I'm sad I didn't buy 2. But this was at Lana's on the way down, and I thought about it and thought about it. So on the way back, it was still there, and I decided to pick it up. A jelly roll, by the way, are pieces of fabric that measure 2.5 inches by the entire width of fabric. So you get one selvage edge on one side, another selvage edge on the other side. That usually measures about 40 or 42 inches from one selvage to the other, and then they're cut 2.5 inches. So there we go. Oh, she put a picture in the Facebook group. Great. Awesome. We'll share some of the Facebook stuff later. So if you want to see what Mom's quilt looks like, it'll be there. The other thing that I picked up was some Nantucket, and there's a reason why I did this. I do have a quilt kit that I'm making with Nantucket Summer, but I do want to have some other fun things with this fabric. I had a charm pack of this, and I used it to teach the Moda Charm Love quilt pattern for So Yeah, and I gave that quilt away at retreat. It's a baby quilt for one of the ladies who just welcomed a brand new grandbaby this week, and this is her favorite fabric line. And then while I was out, I had found 2.5 inch mini charms of this fabric. And I was like, okay, I just want the mini charms. But I gave those away as gifts. So I had none of this left, and I just wanted to have a pre-cut of it in case I wanted to do something with it. And so there was one very last, this is now out of print. It's hard to find. It was very popular. There was one charm pack of this at Lana's, and so I decided to pick it up. And then she had a bit of the coordinating fabric that these would work. This is from the same line. They will work with this. I can add it here and make an entire quilt out of just this if I wanted to, or these could also be awesome blenders. I love the colors. I love the hues. I love the saturation. So I got a couple yards of this, and I think I killed the bolt on this because it was just a little over 2 yards, or maybe it was the other way around. So I've got all of that. And also I got from Lana's this. Let me fix this really quick too. I'm going to put myself kind of up here a bit more so that you can see more of the fabric and less of me. In fact, maybe I'll just, I'm just going to zoom over to the other side. There we go. So the other thing that I got was 2 1-yard cuts of this Tula Pink fabric. I forgot we switched it around this way. This is the lion print from the Everglow fabric line. I couldn't remember if I had the blue colorway. I do. So now I have 2 1-yard cuts of this, but that's okay. And I also got the giraffe. I did not have this colorway. I did have the darker one, but I did not have the green and the pinks, which I kind of love. So I got this as well. Look at those necks in the, do you see this, Jay? It's pretty. It's pretty.
Busy.
It's supposed to be busy, and that'll be okay. So I got both of these. So this is what I got from Lana's on my way back. And most of my shopping, by the way, I actually did do coming back into town. Or yeah, like back home. I didn't do a ton of shopping while I was down there because I wanted to spend my time at retreat. But that drive home, you guys, I broke it up over 2 days and I needed something to do. Mom needed to stop every hour and a half or 2 hours. And so as we were coming back, I wanted to break it up. So coming back from retreat, we stopped first at Lana's, which was about 2 hours from the retreat center. And then we went 2 hours on and stopped at Buc-ee's, brand new Buc-ee's in Sevierville, right outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, stopped there. And then we went an hour and a half on. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. That's right. We went an hour and a half on to a quilt shop outside of Asheville, North Carolina. This is called Five Little Monkeys Quilt and Sew, and Angie and DJ are the owners behind this quilt shop. I met them at QuiltCon in Atlanta. They had a booth there. I bought fabric from them. I loved them. They were hilarious. I like their personalities, and I like some of the stuff they had. And in fact, this is the booth that converted me to Quilter Select Rulers at QuiltCon. So I wanted to stop in and see Angie's shop. I didn't know she was in Asheville, actually, until I had posted an Instagram story from Kingsport, just saying I made it to Kingsport, and she commented on it and said that I should stop by her shop because I was super close. So I went and checked out their shop, and turns out they're in Weaverville, North Carolina, which is just outside of Asheville, and it is out of the way between Sevierville and Abingdon, which is where I had planned to drop Mom off and stay for the night, but what was I going to do anyway? Sit in a hotel room and do nothing? So we went to North Carolina and I got a little something. I got a couple of notions. The first notion that I got is this Bitty Buddy, and I'll give you the overhead view of this. I haven't even opened it up yet, but I am really excited about it. This is intended to be a little waste basket for my table. It collapses down really nicely. and then just kind of pops up like that. This is great because I don't have a trash can on my table and I'm always looking for a place to put stuff. I even grabbed a couple of little storage containers off of my shelf to use as trash. So I'm happy to have this one. And the neat thing about it is it just kind of accordion folds, right? So I can squish it up really tight, take this elastic that's attached to it, put it around it, and now it's portable, so I can take this to retreats too, so I can still have a nice desk, a little nice desk trash can no matter where I'm at. I liked this so much that I got one for me and I got one for my mom. So that's the first thing that I got. The next thing that I bought, let me just fix this right here. Oopsies. Hold on. The next thing that I got was another Notion. I got another Quilter Select ruler. This one is the 2.5 inch by 12 inch ruler. And the reason why I got the 2.5 inch one is because I love the 8.5 inch by 12 inch, but sometimes I don't need it to be that wide. I just need a long straight edge. So I had sat in the aisle looking at the 2.5 inch versus the 1.5 inch and ultimately decided to go with the 2.5 inch because this would be more versatile than the 1.5 inch. It could actually serve some purposes rather than just being a long straight edge. So I got this. And if you don't know why Quilter Select rulers are so great, let me just show you really quick. This is what sold me on them. I do have a ton of Creative Grids rulers. I am actively working towards switching to Quilter Select, but this is going to take some time because rulers are pricey. The Creative Grids rulers still work just fine. Eventually I'll replace them, but for now I'm using both. And when I have time, I pick up 1 or 2 Quilter Select rulers and I'll replace that stack. So what's neat about this is you can see there's 2 sides to this ruler. You can't really see it, but you can feel it. One side feels a little not so smooth, but it's not sticky. This side is nice and it just feels like normal plastic. When you set this bottom side down on your fabric, the fabric stays with the ruler no matter where I move it. Like I'm trying to move the ruler off of the fabric and it's just not moving. Like no slip. Seriously, like I can spin this for days. I can be completely haphazard. This makes cutting so much nicer because I've got the Martelli rotary cutter. And when I'm using that, this hand that I do my cutting with never gets fatigued because I'm holding my wrist parallel to the table. So I can cut for days, but this hand gets really fatigued because I've got to grip that ruler so tight. I've got to hold it up here. I've got to hold it down here. I've got to do something to keep it perfectly lined up when I'm squaring up and cutting yardage. But this ruler, because it's not going to slip and it's not going to slide out from under me, I can relax my hand a bit more and I can keep it off over here and do my cutting. This is a game changer for me. For me, I prefer rulers that have the markings on them that allow me to square them up. So I've got my 45-degree line, my 30-degree line, and my 60-degree lines over here. I also have all of my measurements. And if you didn't know this already, I don't know if you can see this, but there are 2 markings. There's markings that come in from the left and markings that come in from the right. So this ruler is actually designed to be useful for anybody that is right-handed or left-handed. If you're left-handed, the numbers that have the black behind them, that's from the left side of the ruler. If you're right-handed, the numbers that are clear, transparent, that's from the right side of the ruler. I learned that at QuiltCon. They are amazing rulers. Love it. So I got that. I also got... Hi.
Hi.
Are you just watching all the money that I spent?
Yep.
Every time I pull something out, I can see in my husband's eyes, he's like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I got a cup. This cup that I got is great. And I didn't spend a penny on it.
How does it help you quilt?
It doesn't, but I didn't spend money on it. It was a gift from Angie. I saw it. I was like, I love that cup. She said, I'll give it to you as a gift. It says, can you see it?
Oh.
I don't think it's a double wall insulated cup at all. But I had to have it. So it is a nice cup. It's got a lid on it. It was a $20 cup. I got it for free. Thank you, Angie. So there you go. And then fabric, what did I get? You guys, Jason hasn't seen this yet, but I did get something in here for him. But before I show him, oh yeah, it's at the bottom. Before I show him what I got, let me show you what I got for me.
Isn't that all that stuff for you?
Shh! Shush! I got, thank you for subscribing. Oh, wait a minute, what? I'm pretty sure Karen did not, oh, whatever. Karen said, badass quilters rock. And the stream bot told her to stop swearing. By the way, thank you for subscribing. We got a couple new followers. So thank you for subscribing. Missed who the names were. We got this cut of the little, I love this fabric. I got a fat quarter of this. I worked with it. I loved it. And since I have been embracing my inner Tula Pink, I decided it's okay that this is yardage that can go on my shelf. In fact, excuse me, I now have a shelf behind me that is dedicated to only Tula Pink fabric. And I don't love every print that she does, and that's okay. But what I do love, I'm going to lean into it and embrace it. I also bought some fat quarters because Angie buys fat quarters that aren't traditional fat quarters. You don't, like, these are geared more towards, I feel like, people our age. So Marvin the Martian, I got some Marvin the Martian. I got some, she calls this Pride Vader because it's got a helmet, a rainbow helmet on Vader. I also got some retro blue fabric with the Millennium Falcon on it. It actually goes this way. And then she had 3 fat quarters of these, which I felt like was a good blender to go with those 2 fat quarters, as well as this bit of yardage that I got. It was, I think, just like a loose cut piece that she had in a sale bin. And I love it whenever there are Star Wars characters that are doodles. I like the doodles. I don't like them to look realistic. So I loved this one. Can you see? Isn't that cute? Yeah, it's cute. It's got Darth Vader on it, a Stormtrooper, R2-D2, C-3PO. So apparently Vader, Stormtroopers, oh, Yoda, and the droids.
No Chewbacca?
No Chewbacca.
Oh, that's sad.
I know. So sad. There's my cup. So I got these, and my plan is that this fabric and maybe some of the others could go with this panel. Jason, come over here. Oh my goodness, I know, but you gotta come over here. You gotta see what I got for you.
Yes, I guess I got you.
I can't wait to make this a quilt for him. He will probably never let it go. Okay, they gotta see you see it.
What?
It's gonna be great. Where's the top? No, that's the bottom. Okay, can you squint down? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you got to be animated. Yes.
What the? That's pretty good.
It says dark side on the bottom. Isn't that great? So because this is a panel, you can do so many things with the panel. But the nice thing about this is the print's already nice and big, and most of the work's done for you. All I have to do is just add borders to it, and then and then load it on the long arm and quilt it. So yeah, I saw that she had one left. I was like, I need that panel. So that was our stop at 5 Little Monkeys. Let me fold this back the way it goes.
5 Little Monkeys, where's that at?
Just outside of Asheville, North Carolina. Over by the Biltmore. Jason and I lived in Abingdon for a number of years. And I kept telling him, I want to go to the Biltmore. I want to go to the Biltmore. And did either one of us ever get off of our butt and go to the Biltmore? No, to the Biltmore. We never went. Donna said we went by it. No, I don't think we did. Went by it like on 81. That don't count. That's like an hour by it. An hour out of the way. So that was the North Carolina stop. And that was supposed to be the last stop that we did Thursday night as we were coming back up from Alabama. The plan was that we were going to the hotel in Abingdon and we were going to check in. We were going to have some dinner, go to sleep. And then the next morning, Rick was going to come out, my stepdad, and pick my mom up. However, it was 4 o'clock when we left Asheville. And we were going to be in Abingdon by 5 or 5:30. And mom was like, ooh, I have the option to sleep in my own bed tonight. And so she called Rick and said, hey, what if you just meet us in Kingsport? And so back to Heavenly Stitches we went. And this time I focused on getting broke. Yes. This time I focused on getting some ombre fabrics. So what I've got here are just some ombres. They're already folded on my cardboard bolts. This goes from a light to a dark. I can show you here. At the fold, the selvage is dark and it goes up to a light here and then comes back down. So it's like a mirror imaged batik. And the reason, not batik, sorry, ombre. And the reason why I got these is because I thought these would be really cool to do a 2 fabric ombre quilt. I saw a lady at Retreat do one of those and I thought it was absolutely amazing and I want to do one. So I got these 2. I thought if nothing else, they kind of looked cool together. They were on sale. So I killed the bolt on them and got a discount. And then I also got this beautiful purple because my mom loves purple and I knew she would probably want this. Look at that. Look how gorgeous that hue is. Oh, this is so pretty. It goes from dark to light and then back from light to dark. So the darks are on the selvage. And from that same fabric manufacturer, which is E.E. Shank, by the way, I got... This is, no, that is not, I'm sorry, this is Gelato. That is E.E. Shank. I got a fabric called Gelato, which runs from purple to yellow. I can't get it all in here. Let me zoom you out. Do you see that? Look at that color range. It goes all the way up to the yellow and then back down to the purple on the other side. And this, I think, is going to be my preferred fabric for that 2 fabric Bargello. This is just absolutely amazing. Then it was time to go up to Abingdon. Checked into the hotel, could not get to sleep. I literally considered not staying at the hotel. And the reason I decided, I was thinking about it, is because I knew it was going to be hard to fall asleep in a different bed, in a different hotel, like in a hotel, different room, all that stuff, not having anybody there, having been used to having people around going nonstop for a week. I figured it would probably be 12:30 or 1 before I would be able to fall asleep. So I wasn't sure if I was going to come back or not, like that day. I had toyed with the idea of just driving through the night and coming home and being home by 11 or 12, but ultimately I ended up deciding to stay at the hotel and then drive the rest of the way. So
Jason told her to stay at the hotel.
yeah, he did. And the reason why he told me that is not because we were spending gobs of money. So I had booked a hotel just in case, and I had enough Marriott points that I got the hotel room in Abingdon for free. So I used my points to book the hotel room for free just in case I needed it. And if something changed and I decided I wasn't going to stay Thursday night and I was going to drive through the night, I would cancel it and get my points back. But by the time I actually started thinking about it, which was Wednesday or Thursday. I really wasn't sure whether I didn't want to lose the points and then drive 2 hours up the road and realize that maybe I was too tired to make the 5 hour drive from Abingdon back to home and then have to get a hotel room and pay out of pocket for it. So Jason said, just take the hit, use the points. You already got the room, stay at the room. It's in an area that we both know very well. We used to live there. The hotel is nice. Just stay over one more night and come home on Friday. And so that's what I ended up doing. I got up early Friday morning and made the drive most of the way up here. All the way up here because I'm home. And I stopped at 3 quilt shops along the way. The first one that I stopped at is Boutiques, etc. in Withville. And there's a couple of things in here that I'm really excited about. Nope, this is not the right one. Sorry. We stopped at Boutiques, etc. This is what I got from Boutiques, etc. So at Boutiques, etc., they have a sale room, which I just absolutely love. In the sale room, you can get, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. In the sale room, all of the fabric is anywhere from like 15 or 20% off to 75% off. These were both fabrics that were on their shelves for 50% off. This is the Tula Pink's True Colors. I believe I killed the bolt on this. It was 3 yards. Maybe I only bought 2. I think I bought 2. Never mind, I didn't kill the bolt. But I got 2 yards of each of these because they were 50% off. So basically I got 2 yards for the price of 1. And I got this one as well. And the reason why I bought this one, the Busy Fingers from the Homemade line, is because I've seen this print in a couple other fabric bundles the week before, and I had been thinking about different things that I could do with it, and I really liked this Homemade line, and I never bought any of the fabric, and so I decided why not get some of that to put on my Tula Pink shelf.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Also in the sale room was a Jacqueline de Jong Be Colorful Starlight FPP kit. It was 25% off, normally $72. I think I got it for like $50 or $52, something like that. It has all of the fabric and the pattern in here to make this quilt. It will measure 20 inches by 20 inches. I do have a couple other Jacqueline de Jong FPP kits that I want to work on, but I'm a little intimidated by them because they're a bit bigger. And so I thought this is also one I would love to make, but I thought this would be a great opportunity to make something smaller and get my feet wet with Jacqueline de Jong and her FPP technique. So I got this kit in the sale room. But the one that I'm really excited about, I have looked at for a long time. I saw this quilt hanging at the store years ago when I passed through. I think this is one that's been out for a while. I've seen it on Pinterest. I've seen it online. And every time I see it, I go, I'm going to make that one day. I'm going to make that one day. Well, they had a kit. Don't look at me like that. Jason's over there going, but I really wanted to make it. So I got a kit called Color Outside the Lines. Take a look at this. It's gorgeous. It's got all of these pencils in different colors and they make a heart. And I've got all of the fabric that I need with the pattern to put this together. The entire kit was $85. It will measure 46 inches by 52 inches when it's all done. It's 100% batiks. It's the pattern and all the fabric. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I love it. Jason's over there going, all the fabrics. I'm really excited to put this one together, and I kind of want to start right now. Oh, look at that. Look at those. Look at those 2.5-inch strips in there. It's going to be great. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. All right. So that's what I got from Boutiques, etc. in Withville, Virginia. Donna said dibs on Starlight, just saying. You'll have to fight me for it because, you guys, I don't even think I have a picture of it. I know I have a picture of it on Facebook. I made, I think it was Jacqueline de Jong. It was Star Baby. That was her pattern, and it's supposed to be an easy pattern to put together. I didn't do it the right way, but I did get it done. I didn't follow her steps the way I felt like I should have. I just did it with the little information I had about FPP. I made the project over a year ago. I had it pieced and hanging on my quilt rack for a very, very, very long time. And then I officially quilted it, got it bound, and I gifted it to my mom's secret sister at the retreat. So I don't have that anymore. So I'm sad that I don't have it, but I'm going to replace it with maybe this.
Shenanigans.
I know, shenanigans.
All sorts of shenanigans.
On our way up from my way, because I was the only one in the car, after we left boutiques, etc., I stopped in Harrisonburg at So Classic Fabrics and continued on with the Tula collection. More Tula for the shelves. I did. I got
God.
I got a black and white dot. Black and white dot. This is from her line work line. This is a great blender. They had a 10%, you got 10% off if you took whatever was left on the bolt. There was a yard and a half or a yard and 3/4, so I took the whole thing. And this was from the Tiny Dots line, I think. True Colors, it's Tiny Dots. I did the same thing here. It was like 2 yards. I took the whole thing, got my 10% discount for both of these. Those will make excellent blenders for my Tula shelf. And then I decided I wanted to get these two cuts. Ian did a beautiful butterfly daydreamer quilt. It's the one that he talks about. He calls it his charm not charm quilt. And it was using this fabric line. And I do like the butterflies, even with the creepy eyes and the wings. I like the butterflies and I like the color. I also really, really love this teacup fabric. I thought it was a lot of fun. I've seen this in a quilt that Ian has done. I thought it was a lot of fun. I've seen it in a mini quilt that he has worked with, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So I wanted to get that. I got a yard of each of these. And the reason why I got a yard of each of these is because at So Classic Fabrics in Harrisonburg, and they do have an online website, which I'll put in the show notes down below. They have these kits called the half pack quilts. It is 5 half-yard cuts of fabric plus a half-yard cut of fabric for your binding and a pattern of your choice. So I've got a pattern that goes with it. There are a number of patterns that you could pick from. That's the pattern that I chose. And you get to pick out your half pack of fabric, which looks like this. And then you see the display quilts hung up in the store that they've made up for all these patterns. You pick the one that you want to do, and they put the pattern down inside for you. So this whole pack of fabric, there are 6 half-yard cuts of fabric in this pack, and it was $45, $45.99, includes the pattern. So I've got my binding and all of the fabric needed to make the quilt. This quilt will measure 48 inches by 62 inches, and it's called window pane, and it's going to be something that I feel like I'm going to be able to knock out in a day. The reason why I got those other cuts of fabric is because I don't really love this half yard, and I'm not entirely sure I love this one or the crazy cat. So my thought was the teacups I got just so I could have them, but I could look through this and I could substitute out this fabric for maybe the roses or potentially the crazy cats. We'll see, but I might just do it up the way it is and we'll see how that works. If I do it up the way it is, then I can always add in these 2 fabrics to make the quilt bigger. So that's what I got from So Classic Fabrics. They sell those at a quilt shop I go to on Hilton Head. I made one and I have 2 more I bought. That's awesome, Wanda. I thought that was a great idea. Half pack quilts, that's what they call them. The last stop that I had was actually at Patchwork Plus in Dayton, Virginia. This is a quilt shop that I go to frequently. I haven't been there in a couple of years or a year or so. Just really haven't been in Harrisonburg in a while. So I stopped in and looked around, and there were 2 things that I grabbed. The first one was I went to the sale room. The sale room had some fabrics that I wouldn't maybe have bought at full price, but at $7 a yard, Yeah, I got it. So the first one that I got is a 2-yard cut of this fabric from the, I can't remember the name of the line off the top of my head, but it's Sherry and Chelsea. And I don't have it handy. I can't show it to you because it's buried under there. But that mini charm that I showed you at the beginning of the new Sherry and Chelsea line, this will go perfectly with it. Strawberry lemonade. Oh, here it is. Right here. This fabric will go perfect with this new line. Look at that. Harper's Garden. This is Harper's Garden. So the colors work well. So I can still use this. I think I still have some of this in my shelves. I'm not sure, but at $7 a yard, I wasn't going to pass it up. And then the next one that I got is the handprint because I got the blue and this was on sale for $7 a yard or something like that. So I thought, why not? I can go on the Tula shelf. It'd make an excellent lining for some bags with some Tula fabric. And then I decided, oh my gosh, this is the last thing I bought. I feel like I've been going on forever with what I bought, what I thought, what I bought. I have. It's bad. So Mary and I are making friend quilts. She loves pandas and I love dolphins and whales. And so I am going to make for her in the month of August, hopefully I will start and finish it in that month, a panda quilt. We are going to, I've talked about this a little bit, but I'll just officially throw this out there. Sean, the guy who sews, is doing the Pandas and Sweaters quilt by Elizabeth Hartman, and I am going to do it too. We're going to do it at the same time, and we're going to use different fabrics to see how our quilts will look when we pull different fabrics. But because Mary loves pandas, she has picked the fabric for that quilt and she's cutting it and labeling it because I don't want to cut an Elizabeth Hartman pattern. But she's going to get the quilt. I'm going to piece it. I'm going to get it quilted. I'm going to bind it and I'm going to gift it to her. That is her quilt. In return, she is making a quilt for me with whales on it from the line called Whale Song. And I saw while I was at Patchwork Plus this beautiful print from Whale Song, which I have seen before, and I did not buy, and I don't know why, because I really do like it. I think I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it, and I wasn't going to buy fabric that was just going to sit on my shelves. But I bought 1.5 yards of this because I thought, wouldn't this be great as a pillowcase to go with my pretty quilt? I could do a couple of things here. I could have the whales as the body of the pillowcase. Let me turn this around. And I got 1.5 yards so that I could have the whales going this direction rather than up and down. So when you do a burrito pillowcase method, they usually tell you to get 1 yard of fabric for the body of your pillow cover, your pillowcase. But if your fabric is directional and it's running from one selvage to the other, if that's the direction it's going, then your pillowcase is going to look like this. And I didn't want my whales to be sideways. So I splurged and got an extra 1/2 yard so that I could cut out my piece of fabric for the pillowcase so that all the whales are going the way I want them to be. My thought is we're going to take this purple blender and put that as that little stop, that little flap, and then this would be the cuff. Oh gosh, that's so pretty. Now there's something else I can do because I got 2 yards of this because it's gorgeous and I want some for my shelf. So I can have my whales going this way, or I could have the whales be the cuff like this. And then this could be the body of the pillowcase. I think I like the whales as I like the orcas as the body of the pillowcase. Do you have a preference?
Hold it up.
Okay, so this is the whales.
Okay.
And this is, I don't know if I want this to be that little end. You know how when I make pillowcases, you have that cuff at the end? Yeah. Do I want to have more whales or more this? The purple is going to be the flange no matter what.
I don't know. I can see kind of both of them.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's typing, it's a flange, it's a flange. Thank you, flange. Orcas. Orcas are the body. Orcas are the body. People are saying orcas in the chat. Sun Country Girl Design says, hello all. Happy to catch you live, Becca. Hello. Whales for pillowcase. Whales. Orca is body. Okay. The whales have it. The orcas have it. These will be the body. Yeah, I wasn't really sure until I folded it and saw it over there. Oh God, that's so pretty, right? Do that as the flange, and then that is the cuff. Whale body, more whales. I don't think anybody has said the other way. Everybody has been unanimous that this is the way it's going to go. So I'm going to put this together this weekend, and my goal is for my Tuesday video, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do a pillowcase using the burrito pillowcase method when you have directional fabric and you don't want the direction of the fabric to go crazy. So make sure to stay tuned for that video on Tuesday. That's my goal, is to record that this weekend and get it up for you.
Crazy
So
fabric, that's my nightmare.
Crazy fabric?
Yeah. Don't want the fabric to go crazy.
Don't let the fabric go crazy. So that's it. Like, I spent a ridiculous amount of money. And I know my husband's over there going, but here's the thing.
There's always a thing.
There's always a thing. I don't buy a lot of fabric much anymore. I'm very intentional with what I do buy and when I buy it, because I've got so much behind me. I want to sew more out of what's on my shelves, and I want to be purposeful in making sure that the fabric on my shelves is stuff that brings me joy and I want to work with and I want to look at. And if it's not, I want to destash it, sell it, get rid of it, give it away, whatever that case may be. No, I'm not giving all of my fabric away, so please do not email me asking me to give you my fabric for free. I get those emails frequently. That's hard to hear. But I do have one time a year where I allow myself to splurge, and it's the trip to Alabama. That ride back up is the ride going down is really exciting because I'm excited to go and I'm excited to work on things. But I break up the drive coming back up by stopping every 2 or 3 hours at quilt shops and looking up and down the aisles. I save money for that trip so that I can do this. And quite honestly, I've got so much stuff here that I will probably have enough to use for the rest of the year, all the way until July of next year. So cuff should be teal, Mary said. Mary agrees with you. Whales for the body. Sue said, thank you for keeping me company while I long arm a labyrinth quilt for my brother. Awesome. I need to do some long arm work too. So that's that's the trip. That's literally the shop hop haul. All I see is a lot of fabric that has to be put away. Yep, I'm working on it. Most of it though is actually Tula Pink. It's going to go on my Tula shelf. That's easy enough. The hardest problem right now is, and Jason will help me with it, most of these cuts of fabric are 2 yards plus. And so getting them folded, selvage to the fold, it's easier when you have 2 people to help fold it that way, and then roll it on, wrap it onto a cardstock. I did get a few kits and I'm really excited to do those kits. Really excited to do those kits. I think that's the other thing. I heard one of the ladies in the quilt shop say this. So somebody stopped in and they were looking at fabric and they got a half yard of something. They had the girl at the store cut it. I can't remember what store it was, but she was cutting the fabric, and the lady that was buying the fabric said, I don't know why I'm buying this. I don't need it. I have enough fabric at home already. But the lady at the shop said, well, sometimes you just need a little something to make you excited and inspire you to create more. And I went, huh, justified. I am now inspired for a year. Lori said, that's why you emptied some shelves. Yep. Ellen said, I was impressed with how little you bought at QuiltCon. I didn't buy most of what I bought at QuiltCon were hand embroidery kits. I needed hand embroidery stuff. But yeah, this is the one time of the year that I really allow myself to spend a lot of money. Diane said, stopping for quilt shops is a great potty break and a good trip break too. Have fun. Have enjoyed finding new quilt shops on my travels. Becca, good for you and your shopping spree. So the that's true. All of the quilt shops I stop at had bathrooms. They get you up, they get you walking up and down the aisles, they help you move the legs, you feel inspired, you feel creative. Like I feel rested after going to a quilt shop. So that was kind of nice. Um I don't have anything else to say. I feel like I've forgotten how to do a live stream. I'm looking at my husband who's looking at the chat. Is that what you're doing?
No.
Oh, he's playing on his phone. Let's go look in the Facebook group and see what you guys have been up to, because I think Mom's Quilt is out there. What the heck?
Your mom do that quilt? I did see that.
The blue and white one in the Facebook group?
Yeah.
Yep. She did indeed.
Indeed.
Indubitably. So we're going to set up the screen share, which I did not configure beforehand. So you're going to have to give me a minute while I do this. It's always a mistake. It's always a mistake.
I thought you were professional.
Oh, I don't like that picture. That's a horrible picture. Oh gosh. So I'm sorry. I'm looking at this picture. So it's like the last day of the retreat. Like Kim's not even looking at the camera. These are all the ladies standing on the staircase. This is our tradition. We take this picture every year. We're going up for breakfast on the last day. I have not showered. My hair is in a greasy ponytail. I don't have a bra on, and I have a food stain on my shirt. And they're gathering everybody to stand on the staircase for a picture. I'm just like, I don't want to be in this picture. I am not camera ready at all. And it shows on my face. And so I sat down on the step to kind of like hide what I was looking like a little bit. It looks like I fell. Oh gosh. Yeah. Next year we'll have an even better picture. But we did have a really good group picture when we went out to dinner. So, and everybody was in it. Not everybody was in this picture. Oh man, I was a grumpy Gruss in that picture. Grumpy Gruss. Let's get these folks in. You are good to go. Let's see what you guys have been working on. I'm going to change this to new posts. And Thea says she just finished binding one quilt, working on finishing another one. That's pretty. The purples and the teals are gorgeous. Are you leaving me?
Yeah, I'm gonna let the dogs out and run around before bed.
Okay, I'll be out in a little bit.
Oh.
Wendy Curtis is working on her Queen of Diamonds. And we'll pull up each of these so we can scroll through and see what they look like. Month 1, block 2. Ooh, pretty. So pretty. Month 2, block 1. Oh, wow. Nice placement of the fabrics. There we are, back to the beginning. Scrolling on down, Anne-Marie Makowski did the Scrapberry Gingham by Tracy over at the Sewing Channel. She's working on the broken dishes for the top and bottom of the quilt. Pam Birchfield. Well, what I have been working on this month, I finished doing So Sweet Team Red Velvet. I finished the flag on July 3rd, and then I have my oopsie. So I tore out all the quilting and the binding and turned the 9-patch around and re-quilted and rebound it. Geesh, I don't like Jack right now. I am in the process of putting together the Piazza Team Ducal. I think that's how you say it. Mama Nancy, awesome job, you go girl. And these are the quilts that she shared. So I'll just open them up. We'll scroll through. That looks like a stained glass because it's hung up in front of the window. Looks like stained glass. So does that. That's really pretty. Ooh, I like that. Nice. By the way, let me move this. I just have to change this over so that I can see the chat while I'm still in here because I couldn't see the chat. So there we go. There we go. Now I can see the chat. Yeah? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Maybe sometime go on the Bernina and Stitches in Johnson City. I went right through Johnson City. Next time I can do that. I made 3 by Annie A Place for Everything bags. They're not perfect, but I am really proud of them. One was a gift from my best friend. I love the fabric you used. Katie says, I wonder whose pattern this is. Almost done. So this is my new pattern called Jeweled Star. That's what Katie is working on. It's absolutely gorgeous. You did a good job, Katie. I love it. Tamala, I think it is. Cutting off the strings on this atomic starburst to get it on the long arm when I have time for one of my own. That's not yours? I don't understand. It's gorgeous. I love it. Somebody's asking, what is the name of your Facebook group? If you just do exclamation Facebook in the chat, it'll give you a link to the group. Susan, you're outside my New York Beauty quilt top, working on my 3rd Rosebud quilt top, and 3rd is a quilt top that an 8-year-old made today. So this is her New York Beauty. This is the Rosebud quilt, and this is the one that the 8-year-old did. This is the quilt that Mom did. So we're going to talk about this quilt for just a minute. I had a moment that I need to publicly apologize for. So when we stopped at Lana's on the way down to retreat, I was stressed, I was overwhelmed, I was overstimulated, I was all of those things. And I told Mom that at the time I thought I had brought her layer cake pop quilt. I didn't, so it was actually a good thing that she got this. But I told Mom, why don't you get a charm pack so that you can work on something small, or maybe another jelly roll, like a pre-cut. Just get yourself a pre-cut so that you have something else to work on once your layer cake pop quilt is done. And so she went over and started looking, but then she saw this panel and she loved it. And she was like, I think I'm going to get a panel instead. I was like, okay, sure. And I walked away and I came back to the cutting table and she was getting 2 of the panels, which I wasn't really upset about the price. I was just like, okay. But then she's like, and you can tell me what to do with it. But I had no parameters. I had no idea what she was looking for. I had no idea for size. I had none of that stuff. So I didn't know what to tell her. And I felt like I was on the spot trying to figure it out. And I got a little frazzled and a little short-tempered with my mom. And so I was like, I have to go on a timeout. And I walked away from her and then I came back and we got it fixed. But what we ended up doing, because we didn't know what we were going to do with this panel, we just knew that there were these squares on the panel that we wanted to turn into a quilt. I think her vision was that she was just going to get 2 of the panels and just quilt them the way they were. But I was trying to explain to her without the ability to muster words. I think my blood sugar or something was dropping because I couldn't even think clearly. I was very hungry. But as I was what I was trying to explain to her is it wouldn't be big enough. It wouldn't really do anything. You could quilt the panel the way it is, but if she wanted it to be a proper quilt with more size to it, she's going to have to cut all of those squares out and do something with them. And every time I tried to say, you're going to have to cut the squares out, she's like, I don't want to cut the squares out. I'm like, but you're going to have to cut the squares out. She'd be like, I don't want to cut this. And we were just going back and forth. So I had to put myself on timeout, calm down for a minute, and then come back. and talk her through it. And fortunately, my other quilty friends, some of them were at Lana's with me, and they knew exactly what she was trying to say, and they were able to explain it better for her. So one of the ladies there, her name is Kim, she actually has that quilt to do the long arming for it. She helped Mom pick out 2 colors of grunge that worked perfectly with that panel. And if I zoom in, what you can actually see, I'm going to bring it in over here. What you can actually see is each one of these squares, they're bordered by a thin border of that blue grunge. And then we have sashing and rows of this cream grunge, and then the outer border is that blue grunge again. She really liked that blue and wanted to carry it out. So we cut out all the squares. There were 8 squares in a panel, so she has 16 squares here. Put a thin border around all of them, and then put sashing and inner border of the cream and then outer border of that blue. And this is the quilt that she is super proud of. It's a good job, Mom. And I am really sorry that I had a meltdown in the middle of, I mean, it wasn't a meltdown, but I was embarrassed for the way I spoke. And it wasn't bad, but I knew enough that I was losing my cool and I needed to take a moment. I just had to take a moment. All right, let me refresh my screen. Tamala says, it's my own quilt. I am just long arming others' quilts. Tamala like Pamela. Got it. Kayla says, watching the live stream right now, adding my work in progress. Needs a few more details, another foot and a border tonight, and then I will do the quilting tomorrow. Awesome. We got another request to join. We got you in. All right, let's go. Janine is working on this while listening to the live tonight. Welcome home, Becca. Hey, I feel like that looks familiar. I've seen that somewhere. Suzanne Moore is working on her brother's quilt. We're back to Susan, you're out. We'll refresh and see what else comes out. You're a human, you are allowed to get frazzled. I know. I get it. Like, I think the big thing is I knew I was getting frazzled, and so I knew to take a step away and just say, I need a moment. This is one from our very own Mary. She said the quilt was designed by Becca. Not really, but yeah, okay. Fabrics were picked by me and Becca, top pieced by me, and magnificently quilted by Beth from Goody Goods. I bound it and sent it off to its forever home in North Augusta, South Carolina. It will be loved by a brand new baby girl who is the great grandbaby of my mom's friend. The parents loved it so much that they immediately placed it in the baby's crib. And we'll just open this up and zoom in a little bit so you can see the detail here. So this quilt, Mary had bought these pastel Tula Pink fat quarters at QuiltCon that she wanted to use. And she wanted to make a baby quilt out of it, but she wasn't really sure what she wanted to do. I think she had picked a pattern out of one of the 3-yard quilt books or whatever. And so I was like, wait, you need some contrast because there's not a lot of contrast. So we pulled out some of my brighter colors from my Tula Pink fat quarter bundle, and she pulled out some of her pastels from her bundle, and we meshed them up and we complemented it with a Tula Pink background and then some cornerstones and borders. I did all the cutting for her on this. She starched the fabric, I cut it, and I just told her what to sew together and what the layout would be, and she did all of the piecing on it. But I did do the cutting for this one, and I came up with the layout, but everything that was a fun project to work on together. Very pretty. One says, North Augusta is right across the river from me. Awesome. Gwendolyn Hanks. Fabric choices for a Halloween quilt. Fat quarter shop day and night quilt need a few more fabrics, making it scrappy. The black fabrics will be used as the background. Very cool. I think that's all I have. Is that it? I think so. Yep, cool. Cool. let's go back over here. So, what do you guys have for me? Are there any questions that you have for me tonight? There we go. I hope you were able to see all of that. I just realized I have my screen set up weird, so I'm not sure. I think you did. Because I was looking at the chat, you guys are saying pretty colors, stuff like that. So I signed up for the Cotton Cuts Carnival quilt. When does the first month ship? Great question. Carnival ships a week from today, July 28th. So you should be getting your clue number ones for Carnival within the next 2 weeks. All of the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilts always ship on a Friday. It's either the first Friday of the month or the last Friday of the month. The first Friday of the month is the one that starts shipping in February of every year, and the last Friday of the month is the one that starts shipping in July of every year. And so for the next 3 months or so, we're going to overlap. You're going to have 2 puzzle mystery quilts going at the same time. Yeah, actually, Tiff, that's exactly what I was thinking. Tiffany said, go spend the rest of the night with Jay. That's exactly what I was thinking I was going to do. Because he's walking the puppies. I can see him doing that right now. And then we're going to be 9:30. He's going to put him in the kennel. I have not been home in almost 2 weeks. And I'm ready to lay in my bed for the first time in 2 weeks. And you know what else I'm realizing as I'm sitting here? There's a couple pieces of fabric that I know I bought that I did not show you. And so now I got to figure out where they went. That's okay. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do and unpacking. That's mostly what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I get to go in the morning to get my nails done, to get a manicure and pedicure. And then I'll come home. I'll unpack and spend the day with my husband and work on recording videos this weekend. So make sure to... I was on the waiting... Wait, hold on. Pat says, I was on the waiting list for the Carnival steampunk fabric. I guess I didn't get it. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm ready for bed. So I will see you guys all on Tuesday. Next week on Friday, we're going to be working on clue number 6, I think it is, for the Village Green Puzzle Mystery Quilt. We should have done that tonight, maybe even last week, but we didn't. So we'll do it next week. And I'll see you guys all then. So take care. Bye.